Plastics. Which is your cards, your cash, your credit cards.
Yep.
So they are saying that they've closed the northbound lanes of PCH. This is near Channel Road. So more closures there. And evacuation orders have been issued for the east area of Las Flores Canyon Road as well.
Well, these evacuation orders, if you look on your map, they have spread, and they're just growing in size. It started off as one area of the Pacific Palisades, and now there are more communities and neighborhoods impacted by these orders. So if you are getting those alerts on your phone, make sure to heed the warning. No matter how confused you are, if you have the option between two different pieces of information, go with the one that is
basically telling you to get out.
Yes, exactly. That is most cautionary. Look at that.
Yeah.
And as we're looking at this live shot, you're seeing those flames really come alive right behind that home right there. Initially, it just looked like a thick black smoke, and then all of a sudden, those flames really popping up behind this property line. It's not what you want to see, really. You think about, that person and the home and how threatened these structures are. We do know that there have been properties damaged in all of this. We just don't know where. And that's exactly what we're hoping to hear. Fire officials tell us as we wait for them to set up a command post and give us the very latest on what they know. They haven't confirmed yet what property has been damaged, the addresses, and what we're looking at in terms of what this fire has engulfed yet.
And we know that it has caused some damage to many structures now. We're just waiting on some numbers. There are definitely assets up in the air. I'm seeing not just helicopters, but fixed-wing aircraft. I'm seeing at least 1, 2, 3, 4, maybe 5. So they have been attacking this as soon as it erupted. So they're definitely putting a lot of resources to fight this fire. There are many, many homes around this canyon, around this fire. So there's a huge concern. And this window right now that they're trying to take advantage of before the winds really pick up a little bit later is really crucial and critical.
So you're getting a wider shot there. It gives you a different perspective on the left-hand side. That's actually a shot from LAX. There you see all of that smoke, a very different image, although you still have that blue sky. And then when you look closer, you can see the big change there. Looks like nightfall already, right? We're a few hours away from that, but very different perspectives there. Reminder that there is an evacuation center at Westwood Recreation Center that is 1350 South Sepulveda Boulevard. So if you're able to head that way, if that's near you, if you know people who may need that information, let them know. Westwood Recreation Center at 1350 South Sepulveda Boulevard is somewhere that can go.
Yeah, I can't remember if you can bring pets or not at Westwood, but definitely go there and find out. It's a huge facility, so it can accommodate a lot of people, a lot of cars. So please take advantage. They have, bathrooms. They have showers. There's a pool there. Anyway, they have a lot of amenities for you if you have nowhere else to go, of course.
And it's always the situation where when you do have to evacuate, you don't ever know for how long, and when you'll be back or when you can, what they call repopulate your neighborhood, right? Go back to the burn area. But keep in mind, this is going to take some time, given the magnitude of this fire, how big it is, how fast and quickly it's grown, and we haven't seen the worst of the weather yet. So brace yourself. If you are leaving, make sure you take enough for several days, and just patience, right? There are resources available for you. LA County Fire, LA City Fire, and the Red Cross certainly coming into action whenever there's a situation like this, to make sure residents who are displaced, who are evacuated, do get the resources they need. So there will be help for you. The most important thing, though, is to heed the warning and get out when they tell you. And that is pretty much now.
You see the traffic there on PCH, right? It's just wild that people are abandoning their cars if it's just impatient or nerves or just panic. If you do that, I guess one can hope that you pull over at least, because leaving them right in the middle of the street is creating a problem for our trucks.
I did just see that they do accept small animals.
Oh, good.
At the Westwood Center, Recreation Center there. So that's good news. If you have small cats, small dogs, they will accept you there at Westwood.
And keep in mind the smoke and flames, it's really visible from all over the coastline and the surrounding area. We're getting images in from the South Bay, seeing all the smoke, also in LA, obviously. And maybe you're not in and around this area, but you're certainly going to feel the air quality change depending on where you are. And because of the fact that this is a severe windstorm situation, not only for this area, but I'm getting notices from different athletic coaches for youth sports. They're canceling practices in Riverside and the Inland area, Inland Empire, Orange County as well, because this whole area is impacted by the wind.
Actually, a large part of SoCal is under an air quality alert, not because of this fire. This fire is bringing new problems, of course, especially if you've got any respiratory issue. You want to stay indoors. But the air quality alert was in place because of the blowing dust. And not only that, there's a mandatory firewood burning ban at the moment, because that would add, obviously, more toxic particulate matter into the atmosphere. So you want to remember the air quality alert that's also in place.
Yeah, it makes sense to try to stay indoors if you can during this. I mean, why create a situation that doesn't need to happen?
Well,
right?
as you saw earlier, we saw people actually walking around sort of the perimeter of the fire and looking and watching, and that is obviously not a good idea to be doing that, taking pictures and video, which, you know, in the media, we want to get some of that because we want to share it with our viewers, but at the same time, we want you to stay safe, and we want you to get out of the way of officials and firefighters trying to save structures here with this fire.
Yeah, don't let curiosity get the best of you. If you're close to this area, don't try to be a looky-loo and create congestion or a problem for people who are really trying to answer the call. And then if you're not in this area and you're worried about a health condition, you're looking at some people on foot right there getting out of the area. And look, kids wearing masks because of the fact that the air quality is so bad. And if you do have a condition like asthma or respiratory issues, people getting over being sick, people getting sick over the holidays and having trouble with cough or something, this is going to aggravate things even more.
So they're walking down, I'm assuming this is Temescal. I just saw on radio chat that the fire is now impacting parts of Sunset Boulevard. This is near Palisades Drive, and that the road is impassable, but we're getting word that the fire is now impacting.
Change his position right there, but it's hard to tell at this point from our vantage point or from that we're getting in, if in fact some structures have been damaged from their locations. We do know that there has been damage, we just don't know where, and we haven't physically seen it, right?
Right. We haven't
From
seen any burned
angles,
homes.
yeah.
Just heard reports. Trying to see if there's an update regarding any evacuations. By the way, the Watch Duty app, or if you go online, just do Watch Duty, you can get up to the minute information regarding acreage that's burned or evacuations or just any kind of useful information there. Yes, Maria just read you the latest update that the fire is impacting Sunset Boulevard near Palisades Drive, and you can't use this road at this point. So that is going to be a big problem. I think we're going to see more people walking, right? Just their best bet is to walk out of there if possible versus trying to drive. PCH is moving very slowly. It's like a snail's pace here, but at least we're seeing traffic slowly moving along. This was Will Rogers State Beach, the parking lot there. This is where they were going to have a command post set up, but it looks like they are changing their plans. That's why this parking lot is so empty at this point. My gosh, that sky.
He's busy. How dramatic a fire can be, and how it impacts just the atmosphere in terms of how dark it is. It looks like nighttime there. This is at Gladstone, where they're setting up their emergency command center, and first responders will be giving us an update there. But PCH and Sunset is what you're looking at, and the traffic just getting out of that area. And look how populated it is. To feel the effects of this fire at this point is really quite concerning for all of those people living in those multi-unit homes, apartments, condos. They're trying to get out.
Wow. Well, you saw the masks, but also you saw the goggles, because you can imagine how the smoke and the debris is just irritating all of your senses, including your eyes and your nose.
And this is the stuff that you can see. What about the stuff that you can't see? Right. You know it's there as very toxic for our lungs, and so that's why we encourage you to wear a mask. And if you're not in the evacuation zone, stay indoors and shelter in place.
If that's luxury at this point, right?
Right. You know, in the village in the City Palisades, just sort of east of where that fire is, it is closed on Sunset. So if you're trying to get out maybe that way, it's going to be kind of tough, as those roads are also, I would imagine, packed. And it is closed if you're trying to get in. Maybe you have a dog. We heard from a family earlier how he left and he left his dog at home. We do not encourage you to go back and try to get your animals, but I know it's not a opinion, right? It's tough. It's tough.
Yeah, we're just getting some information from our director that we have an image of a home on fire. Sadly, if we can get that image and show.
Okay, there's a live look.
We've been talking about there were reports of homes on fire. We hadn't yet seen it, and unfortunately, there it is. Do we have a locator here? Do we know where?
Can you hear me right?
Oh, Matthew is here.
Okay. Yes, we can.
Shadow Mountain Drive.
Scoopers or water dropping helicopters up above. What are you seeing exactly?
We're not seeing any firefighters or any drops from the sky. But if you look over here, there's another. Looks like another in flames behind this gate. A lot of people looks like evacuated very quickly. It's dead up here, but again, no firefighters that we've been able to see. And the people that we have talked to are wondering where they are. As we continue to see the flames push further and further down this hill.
How hard was it for you to come up to this neighborhood?
The traffic in the area is pretty bad, so we had to do some maneuvering. Even the cell reception right now is not great. That's using Wi-Fi to do this live shot for you. But it's a massive area. We just need to get out here, and you can see it feel the wind.
Hey, Matt, what's that main road that you're standing at right there? Is that Saddle
Mountain Drive.
Saddle Mountain Drive? Okay. Shadow, thank you.
Shadow Mountain, yeah.
Well, it's difficult. I know it's heartbreaking for residents who say, where are all the firefighters? You know, why aren't there any personnel here? It's just so expansive at this point, and it quickly spread. And then the fact that they're dealing with all of these people trying to get out of the area or get into the area, the traffic, as you even reported, Matthew, showed us, it's just a nightmare to try to get in and out of that area and that region, and then trying to, allocate the resources accordingly. Obviously, the first priority for first responders is to protect life and property, and it is heartbreaking to see people's livelihoods, their homes go up in flames, but we are seeing firsthand how these first responders are working so hard to try to put this out. And clearly it's just the combination of the terrain plus the winds, as you're seeing right there, and you're feeling it, Matthew, right? The winds really whipping around.
Yeah, you can feel the wind and the extreme heat coming off the fire. It looks like they have some sort of sprinkler system set up in the lawn here, but it doesn't appear to be working. We're planning to pushing further and further down the hill right now towards Shadow Mountain Drive.
So Shadow Mountain, and what's the nearest cross street?
Bienvenido. Shadow Mountain, Bienvenido.
Okay, so you're up at the Ridgeview Country Estates. You're kind of like in between the village and the Palisades and the summit that's way, way, way at the top there. But you're really close to the canyons, but there's a lot of homes up there, Matt, and it's just so devastating to see this one in particular, this structure and this fire. Are you seeing any other people at all up there on your way up, or do you think that a lot of them were able to get out?
When we got to the main road off of Bienvenida, it got noticeably quiet as we got closer to the fire. A lot of the residents had pushed out. But again, it's a very residential area. A lot of homes burning right now.
Such an eerie, I feel as though I'm not there, but watching you, such an eerie kind of feeling where you are.
Yeah, definitely a very eerie feeling. You can feel the ash getting pushed out by the fire and the heat as we're kind of backing up a little bit. But really, yeah, we're just the only ones up here. And we actually tried calling the fire department ourselves, tried calling 911, but the cell reception is so bad. The only way that we're able to talk to you right now is through Wi-Fi. So obviously pushing this fire, making it grow even more.
There's a school nearby. I'm assuming that they evacuated St. Matthew's. It's a known school there up in the Palisades and in the parish. I'm not sure if you drove past it on your way up there, Matthew, but just in case if you saw any kids or any all down there.
It looks like they're being evacuated. We did drive past it on the way over. The traffic in that area has been so bad. We saw parents box the kids. We saw school buses and everything. It seemed like everything was happening very quickly. They sort of wanted that this fire was going to start today. They were all going about their day. And then it was all rushed very quickly. Do everything you can to get your kids and get out.
There was a lot of residents on foot, Matthew, even getting away from that area, and even first responders with their conditions up there looks terrible in terms of the pollutants in the air and just the air quality you must be dealing with, Matt.
Yeah, the air quality is not good. You can see our maps right now. It's the wind, the smoke, the fire, you can feel the heat. It's really close. I can tell we've been walking in the street for minutes or so, and there's no one here. There's no fire. Again, we tried calling, but so far, I was gathering a response is so receptive, so poor. We're going to actually change locations right now.
Okay, we'll let you get back to it, Matt, and Matthew, as we wait for him to change the locations. Let's take a look at the map and the areas he's talking about, because we are looking at the red right there. That's the evacuation orders that are in effect right now. So if it's red, means you leave now. So anyone living in those red areas, leave now if you haven't left already. The yellow area evacuation warning is in effect. It's in place right now. That means be ready to leave, right? Have your foot out the door. Leave if you want. Leave if you can. Do the right thing. Get out early.
The problem is, where are they going to go? So PCH is pretty much gridlocked at the moment, but it is away from the fire, so that's a good thing. So I guess they could go north.
North? Yeah.
They could go north.
Up and around, get into the valley maybe, go to Oxnard area. It is a tough situation, but you got to think on your feet and then be ready to go and do what's best for you and your family and for the surrounding community, just so you're not a problem. Because you don't want to add to being the problem here, because it's tough as it is for people who are watching this and realizing that these flames are impacting so many people's homes and livelihoods. Look at how close to the property line.
Yeah,
Right
we
there.
were just we just switched cameras there, but that was Matthew, and he was telling us how they have no cell service, so they were using Wi-Fi, right? Matthew and our photographer Armando. Armando. Oh, this is Armando. Okay, this is Armando's camera. Okay. So there we have. Yes, the flames is so close to that home right there. Man, it's tough to watch this, right?
It is. He was up there at Shadow Mountain Drive, and he was Bienvenida. He was saying how it was pretty much empty of people. However, there were no firefighters, and the fire was getting really close to where he was. But as you said, Sandra, they're getting called to where the danger is at its highest at the moment. And so you can't expect them to be there. But I'm glad they evacuated. That's exactly the right thing to do, so that firefighters go to where it's most needed at the moment, where that life first.
Looked like that homeowner did take all the precautions. They had the fire clearance. With a lot of people living in that area, they're known to have fire threats and prone to these warnings over the years. And they've done their best. They've listened to fire officials. They live in an area where you are in those fire-prone areas. They clearance right around the home. And that house, even Matthew was mentioning, had like a water sprinkling system in place on the ground. It wasn't working, which is another thing, but to take precautions like that, especially if you live in an area where you know it might be a situation like this, and then to watch that happen to your home.
Nature.
Yeah. How the pictures are changing as you know.
And it's going to be night soon, and it's going to make everything much more difficult. As the wind gonna pick up, that's the biggest issue.
Got red flames that are in effect through tomorrow evening. Extreme fire danger.
At some point.
That's a really good question. In terms of the really strong winds, it will not be until after late tomorrow.
Oh.
Thursday will really be the day when we see a noticeable change and how these winds relax. The irony of the forecast, I think, is this morning we were talking about rain and snow.
Yes.
And how it was impacting parts of the Inland Empire as the storm system was just too far from this area to really impact us with much needed precipitation. But all of that rain and snow fell over the San Bernardino Mountains, parts of the Los Angeles National Forest, but it has now since dissipated and has moved east. So we're dry everywhere at this point. So don't let your guard down. If you are down in the Inland Empire, parts of the Santa Ana Mountains down below in the foothill communities, the winds are strong there. And the fire danger is high pretty much everywhere. So please be prepared. Use this moment now to get prepared if you aren't already.
You know, one thing that's good is that the Super Scoopers are still around, because I believe their contract was supposed to expire in December. They keep them around, which is awfully helpful.
But
obviously, the conditions have been just terrible, so.
They were anticipating this. We were anticipating that this was going to happen, and the National Weather Service issued a PDS, red flag warning. That means a potentially dangerous situation. And on the scale of high to extreme, we are at the extreme level right now. So this is something that doesn't happen very often. And I think it was Captain Eric Scott that told us that it was 2011 was the last time that we saw conditions like this develop so quickly in terms of the danger.
We do have Haley Winslow on the scene out there talking to residents and getting new video as to what's happening. Let's go back to her and what the situation's like out there, Haley.
It's crazy. It's very crazy to say the least. And we're actually trying to figure out where the command post is. It keeps changing, so we can get you the latest information. There were about 5 fire trucks that just flew out of here being deployed. So this is, I guess, kind of a makeshift staging area. I did just get the latest 911 call talking about the homes on Shadow Mountain Drive where Matthew Seedorf is. That are threatened, about a dozen of them. I'm just going to play it for you real quick. I was just trying to do that real quick while you came to me. So basically, I'm just playing it for you live. basically saying a dozen homes threatened on Shadow Mountain Drive, where Matthew Seedorf was just a minute ago. But a dozen homes, they said they don't have anyone there, and they're trying to deploy some firefighters. That's probably where these guys in the parking lot were going, because they were saying on that radio call that they had no firefighters nearby. Now, I do have a friend, I just got off the phone with him, the one we introduced you to earlier today, Eric Robertson. He and his wife Trisha are trying to evacuate right now. They've been trapped the last few hours. They understand that the